Hi, this is Eli from the Magic Our Way podcast, and you are listening to the BS Podcast Network.
Hey man, what up? You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with your hosts, Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee, man. These are some good old boys from New Orleans, and you should just kick back, open your ear holes, and listen, man. Have fun. Jamie is saying, snooch to the dooch.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For today, we present another episode of Did You Notice Hollywood Studios, brought to you by our very own Lee. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And on this show, we follow the Disney concept of edutainment, where you focus on your entertainment, and along the way, you just might learn a thing or two.
Hey.
And as always, to join in our discussion, we have a resident comic genius from ivorycomics.com, Mr. Eli Ivory. Hey, man, what's up?
What's up, man? Just another day to bask in the sun of being truly magical and whatnot. How you guys doing?
Magical and whatnot.
Whatnot?
Whatnot?
Why not?
I felt that.
Because it's magical.
It's magical, man.
And you should probably step away from him now that you felt that.
Hey, it's okay. It's all magical.
It's all about Crevassier. And joining us with this Crevassier
Maybe you should
moment.
push in closer then. I'm sorry.
Just open your ear holes.
There you go. That's right. Ear holes are important in this episode.
That's not what you were opening, but
You.
And another set of ear holes that we're going to penetrate is our resident travel agent for Magical Moments Vacations, the Shaggy TA Lee Lastavica. How's your ear holes, man?
Oh man, so fuzzy. It's amazing.
Fuzzy.
The beard has already grown up into the ear. It's great for the wintertime though.
So you have ear bush.
What you would expect with certain ear holes, yes.
have you looked into manscaping at all? I mean, because maybe you've gone a little bit too far.
You know, Dr. Sasquatch has soap for that.
I know, huh? It's for mid only.
Dr. Squatch.
That's right.
Gotta love it.
And look, that voice you just heard, with bells strapped open, is our very own Officer Weekend. How you doing?
Did you just do a Creed reference?
I did do a Creed
That
reference.
is awesome.
How do you like that?
That was awesome.
What is
Yeah.
strapped open?
His bells.
They're getting bigger and bigger, too.
Oh?
Merry Christmas.
Tell us about that. What are you using for
used to
that?
be those little jingle bells you hold in your hands. Now they're big clock bells. Don't. Clock
All
bells.
right.
You want to do it slower?
Look him in the eyes while you do it.
Yes, look me in the eyes when you do it.
Cut to any first-time listener of the Magic Our Way podcast tuning out at this
All right, that's enough of this episode. Okay. We're done with this one.
Pretty much.
Somebody's like, well,
Well, look, my weekends, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show for you lined up today. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we present another episode in our series of Did You Notice in the Hollywood Studios. Lee, which part of the park are we exploring today?
Muppet Vision, Muppet Courtyard, all that stuff, man. We are gonna do the Muppets and do it big.
All the Muppets. So look, guys, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's go discuss some Muppet making magic. And here we are in the hub, and this is our main segment portion of the show. And as I said at the top of this show, we are talking about Did You Notice Hollywood Studios? And we're specifically talking about some Muppets. Lee, take us on this journey, sir.
Yeah, so this show is all about the entire Hollywood Studios, but mostly about Muppet.
I get that. San Diego.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the discussion because I tell you what, when I come out of Star Tours, which we talked about in our last episode of Did You Notice, so make sure you guys check that out.
Yes.
I usually make a left turn, and I head to those bathrooms right there at the beginning of the whole Muppets Courtyard area.
Oh, will you be talking about Gonzo's?
Yes, Gonzo's.
I know those well.
Yeah, don't Google that.
No. Whatever you do.
And somewhere somebody's laughing Gonzo. Why do you know that, sir?
No, somebody's Googling that. That's what's happening.
Or you can Google that.
Someone's about to
and
get fired for their search history.
I'm going to say you're welcome.
Disney and the Jim Henson Company have a long relationship. Goes way back.
How far back?
Oh, way back.
Way back.
And it goes a little something like this.
like this.
Hit it!
Echo. Ultimately, Disney purchased the rights to Muppets and Bear in the Big Blue House characters in February 2004. This area would have had plans to be much bigger, but it definitely still, there's a lot of stuff to take in, a lot of fun little details, all these little fun jokes and inside information and just puns. It's just a great little area. You could spend a lot of time over here. So hopefully you guys find this show informative and it'll enhance your enjoyment of this area of the park.
What's Bear in the Blue House?
That's the
Bear in the Big Blue House. Yeah, it used to be it was a stage show at one time at Disney.
It was a TV
show. It was a TV show. No.
On Disney Channel, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a puppet show. I mean, because Disney does not have the rights to the Sesame Street characters. So when they purchased the Muppets, you only got a select group of characters, and that was kind of one of the Lee really kind of cut straight through a lot of history, but that was definitely one of the,
a lot of backstory there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Danny, you can do a show. I know you've got a show planned strictly on the history of Muppets, and we'll delve into that.
I was going to do a show on the history of Muppet Vision 3D, but I think we're probably going to hit most of it today. So we'll see how it works out. But there's a lot of information there. Let's just say when Jim died, Disney said, yeah, we agreed to buy it for this price, but now it's not worth near as much. And how insulting is that?
Very.
If you're the Henson family
insulting.
after your father just passed.
That's crazy.
Well, my understanding was that, they wanted it from the beginning, way before this purchase was made, but Jim was like, no, the Sesame Street is going to be just for me, for my family. It's, it's what I'm going to leave to my kids, basically. And, that's why he didn't want to sell it originally before he passed away.
I think he looked at Sesame Street as being like, no, this is more what I do with PBS. That is not for profit for Disney to go ahead and take advantage of. And
well, that makes sense too.
But
anyway,
that makes sense though. If you're an artist like Jim was, and you want to make sure your legacy is still kept past your time of existence, then you want your family to benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would think.
That's the hope.
If I'm an artist, I'm gonna saddle up with the Disney company, and they're gonna preserve my legacy. You would think
That's the hope.
and that is the real tragedy here. Is that's what Jim thought. And a discussion can be had as to what Disney did with his legacy. I don't think it's much of a discussion, but we can have it at some point in time and find out what they did with the Muppets. And is the Muppets worth more now that Disney has owned them for quite a number of years, or are they worth less than when they were sold?
Sounds like Star Wars all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's just the artist vision
happy
thing.
stuff.
That's
This is happy. Let's concentrate on the stuff that Jim did hand over, because that is one interesting thing about this area that we're about to visit, is that everything that's created there, even stuff that is non-Muppets, was created with the intention that this was going to be part of a bigger Muppets presence in the park. Mama Melrose was meant to be a Muppet restaurant. Pizza Planet was meant to be a Muppets restaurant.
Yes.
So it was meant to be a bigger Muppets presence in the park, and these buildings were built with the idea that at some point in time they would house specific things, and then had to be transitioned over to something else.
Yeah, this, as I kind of alluded to in the intro there, this area was supposed to be a lot more Muppets than there actually is.
Whole lot more.
A lot of that didn't come to be. So it's amazing that we have what we have, but it was supposed to be a lot more than what it is.
Yeah, so there's a sadness and the happiness that comes from looking at this area right now. The sadness used to be about what could have been with the things that you knew should have been there that didn't get added. But you can feel happy at least what we did get. And now you're kind of back to sadness as they keep whittling away little by little at what you did get.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they keep trying to give us Disney stuff as far as television productions and shows and things like that. So hopefully something will eventually click, and then that will help to pique interest, and we'll get more.
Let me tell you what could easily click. get Frank Oz involved.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, they need a Star Wars this.
Jesus Christ. I mean, when you get that far away with Jim Henson's right-hand man, literally, in some instances, when Jim Henson's right-hand man is not included in what were the Muppets, what made them great, what made them special, how can we recreate this stuff? When he's not a part of the conversation, you're having the wrong conversation. When you're looking at the Muppets and you say, you know what I see? I see a remake of The Office. You're probably having the wrong conversation.
Yeah?
And I don't even think that was a bad show, but it wasn't the Muppets.
It wasn't the vision that was originally made because you're just shoehorning it in.
It also doesn't get the same vibe and the same feels you get from the Muppets.
Well, you need the people that built it and worked on it and put their sweat behind it.
You're not involving Frank Oz. You're firing Steve Whitmire, the hand-picked chosen successor for Kermit. Brian Henson is gone at this point in time, I believe, as well. Jim's son. So I mean, it's like at this point, it's kind of like you're asking a bunch of kids who never grew up on the Muppets to recreate the Muppets, and I don't know how you're going to pull that off. And that's why I just don't see a whole lot of promise for this land as it is. But for us old people who want to reflect on what was once great, let's go on this journey before we depress ourselves anymore.
Yes, absolutely. Please.
We are truly magical and whatnot.
All right, so we're gonna take a look at some of the fun stuff that you can find out in I'm just gonna call it Muppets Courtyard, even though I know it's not Muppets Courtyard, but for all intents and purposes, let's just say it's Muppets
In my
Courtyard.
heart, it will always be Muppets Courtyard. It's the most beautiful place in the studios at one point.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of fun signs to look at and little details here and there. So let's go through some of the stuff that you'll find outside before you enter into the Muppet Vision 3D queue. There's one cool sign that's the Swedish Chefs. Apparently he has two jobs. Not only is he a chef, but he's also an editor of movie editing somehow. Because he's got a company. It says Swedish Chef Editing and Catering, from quick cuts to cold cuts. So,
sounds like a kitchen nightmare to me.
Oh man, I mean, I hate to say it, but like 90% of the show is just going to be us telling all the little Muppet jokes. It's so great, all the puns and all the little funny things that are in here.
Well, innocent jokes that work with adults and they work with kids. I mean, you're not going to fall over belly laughing, but you're going to be like,
that's clever, very clever.
Right.
One thing you'll notice on the clock hanging outside of the main entrance is you'll find Gonzo hanging on the minute hand of the clock. It's a cool little detail there.
I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of that yet.
Yeah, it's just so basic, but it's very much something that would happen to Gonzo as he gets stuck up there on a clock like that.
Right.
One of this is a real cool thing that I honestly did not notice being there until I did a little research. There's a lot of little fixtures and things on the walls that they painted to look like monsters. They put eyes on some of the light fixtures. The rain gutters have monster faces painted on them and things like that. So if you're not careful, you're going to pass that stuff by. You might not notice that because, again, I definitely didn't notice it when I was there until I started doing this research. I said, oh, man, again, not even necessary. Like it's not something that, is mind-blowing technology or anything like it. It's just literally a set of eyes on a light shade or in the facade above Miss Piggy's picture and things like that. And it just small little things like that. It's great.
Yeah, but I mean, that kind of, when you look back at the history of the Muppets, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, when you look back at one of the things that they were most known for is that they were booked for like a guest spot on the Jack Parr program. And while they were waiting in NBC studios, what they did was there was a whole piping area. And Jim and the Muppet performers went ahead and decorated the pipes. And they just put eyes and mouths and faces and everything on everything. So it just makes sense that little light fixtures and things in and around the Muppet Courtyard area, as it was once known, would exist. Because it should exist. Because that's kind of what they did.
Yeah, and it really brings you into the world of the Muppets.
Yes.
It's just one of those things. It's like, there's all, the Muppets, they have all these little monsters and weird characters and very unique characters and things like that. So they're taking that and putting it onto the walls and onto the fixtures and stuff outside of the building.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I love it.
And even the awning, I think they removed it recently. I don't know if they put it back, but the awning exiting the gift shop had a Muppet face on there.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, this is just a very basic gag. Someone spilled some paint type situation. You've probably seen this before, but it's a cool little area where you can see that someone's been painting the wall. And then they have to leave, I guess, so they write on the wall. They don't put a sign that says wet paint. They write on the wall with paint, wet paint. Right? So, I mean, that in and of itself, that's funny, right?
Yeah.
Because what should you do? You should just put a little note that says wet paint.
Yeah.
But no, they're going to paint wet paint on the wall. And then it looks like, of course, someone fell in the middle of it because it says do not touch, but the H is kind of cut off and you see the paint flying down the wall, splattered onto the floor, which you get an image of somewhere a Muppet up there painting and falls off a ladder or something like that.
Or drop the brush. No, it's awesome detail. I love it.
Very much.
It's all over that area, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned this, Kevin, and I thought this was just such a cool callback. So you might not know this, but the bathroom area, Gonzo's Royal Flush, that's has a story behind it. I mean, like, again, only Disney would make a bathroom with a backstory, right? But
that's why I use it, right?
Yeah, that's why you wait the whole day to go there.
Yeah, but, of course, yeah.
Hold it. No, I got to hold it. I got to go to Gonzo's.
I love don't Google that.
You got to go where it counts, so where you feel safe and secure about your privates.
Yeah, that's it.
You mean Disney actually came up with themed stories for bathrooms?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love those bathrooms.
That's a unique idea. I've never heard about that.
We had an episode we came up with theme idea for bathrooms.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you?
Yeah.
We did.
I will need to go look for that show because I've not heard that concept.
You see my shirt?
You should.
You see my shirt?
Your shirt says, I pooped at Disney.
I did there.
Wow.
This man has
He pooped.
total confidence in himself to wear that shirt.
I do.
I know you do.
Like, I could totally see one day we're going to get a series from Kevin, like the best bathrooms at Disney or something.
Absolutely, yes.
Would that topic include just Disney World or Disneyland? Because we know there's a bathroom.
No, it's
Disneyland
two separate things. It's two separate things.
I need to go back to visit, though, to inspect these areas properly.
I could tell you that Journey into Imagination bathrooms are one of my favorites.
Because it's quiet.
Nobody knows they're back there, so it's quiet.
Yeah.
I got space. And good luck if you walk in while I'm doing my business.
No. Yeah, I see you when you do your business. You do big business.
I do big business.
You do big
That's going to be
business.
Journey into Stink Nation.
That's right.
If we're going to go, but seriously, before we get into the Gonzo's, what are they called again? It's the Royal Flush bathroom.
Royal Flush, yeah.
So that does have an element of history in Muppets lore, because the very first time you see Gonzo in the Muppet movie, he's driving a truck and it says the great Gonzo, plumbing artiste, the prince of plumbers. And that's where all this plumbing bathroom stuff with Gonzo kind of started.
And also, if you remember in the Muppets movie from 2011, when Kermit was trying to get the gang back together, they come across Gonzo and he's this successful business. Toilets, he's like made something of himself. He's a toilet salesman. He's got a whole showroom floor and everything. And actually, this restroom area, there's a little sign that notes that this is the executive use toilet showroom. It's this restroom area. So, I mean, nothing like a nice used toilet.
That's why I go there. Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right, cool. And honestly, guys, there used to be a lot more here, but this show and this concept for the show is about what you can find right now in there, in these parks and in these areas. I know, Danny, there's a lot of stuff that used to be here. I know they changed the fountain and some other things. So maybe eventually, guys, you can tune into when Danny releases his show, and they'll give us more of the stuff that's not here anymore. But this is all just fun stuff that you can find right now in the park.
Yeah, because the Muppets have had that Predator red dot of death on it for a while now.
I thought you meant like Chris Hansen was coming out and talking to him. Okay.
Well, I guess same concept. At any point in time, you're just waiting for them to go ahead and pull the plug. And that to me is when I'm really kind of...
That's unfortunate.
It's going to be hard for me to find the love to go back because... it was a great thing, and little by little they've kind of.
It's kind of not fair to our generation as adults if you look at it like that. Like the generation before us, their stuff got kept on for centuries.
Not really.
Wow.
Well, how much Looney Tunes stuff do you say? I mean, they keep canceling. They keep putting warnings in front of this stuff.
I mean, fair, but it's still being aired.
Well, I don't know about all of it, but some of it, some of it is being... Look, the Muppets just got on Disney Plus, and they already had to pull off a couple episodes because it's like, oh yeah, not that one, and not that one. And now they're starting to get complaints on the ones that they did upload. And so we're going to see how long this goes on for because, as we've covered in previous shows, Disney likes to
placate.
Yes, they like to pander to a
invisible Twitter audience that likes to complain because they woke and eat cornbread stuff.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm glad to say that.
Yes.
What else can you do to me?
No.
Oh, man. All right, so let's move into the cube of the actual Muppet Vision 3D show attraction. Look and see. You'll see 2 bulletin boards on the left-hand wall as you pass through the turnstiles. You'll see that this is the Muppet Vision 3D headquarters directory. And, of course, there's a fun list of different funny jobs and departments and things like that. So here, I'm just going to throw these a couple at you. I know, Danny, you're going to know all of them, but for the other guys, if you want to just play along.
I'll shut up.
Yeah, basically, that's what he was.
Well, I don't want, I mean, it's like you are the star
wrong.
pupil.
Yes.
You are the star pupil on this show,
Right.
so you're going to know all this
You
stuff.
are the captain.
You are the captain.
I'm the captain.
You are the
Look at
captain
me.
now.
I'm going to try and be as quiet as possible until something comes along where I'm like, okay, I think because there's so much to see here.
Well, Muppets
There
is
really
your
is.
thing. But it
Yeah.
would be like
Yes,
if he
exactly.
covered like
Yes.
something Marvel, I would be biting my
Right.
fingernails right now.
So I'm going to do my best to. I'm going to lay out. And I'm going to let y'all guys
lay out. In
Yes.
the sun.
All right, all right.
If I
Enjoy
see
yourself.
something
So-
where I can.
Yes,
We
explore.
got you.
Go
We
ahead.
got you.
Yeah, so let's start here. The Institute of Heckling and Browbeating.
Yes.
Who would that be?
Oh, that's Statler and Wardorf, the 2 old
Exactly.
guys in the back. That has to be those guys.
Yeah, they are the curmudgeons in chief, it says here. On the
Hey, can I ask y'all a question? This is something I'd like to know if y'all
Yes.
know the answer to. Which one is Stadler and which one is Waldorf?
Oh, which was Waldorf. I'm just imagining the guy on the left is Statler and the guy on the right is Waldorf, but I could be 100% wrong about that. I'm just saying that based off of, you always say this person's name. You always say Statler and Waldorf. You don't say Waldorf and Statler. That's in my mind who they are. The guy on the left is Statler. The guy on the right is Waldorf.
All right, but quantify it by looks because they can switch positions.
Okay, so Statler would be the little short Ed Asner looking one, and Waldorf is the other one.
Scratch that and reverse it.
Okay, scratch it. Statler would be the other one, and Waldorf would be the little Ed Asner looking one.
There you go.
Ed Asner.
Statler
Right,
is
so
the
just
more.
like Chip and Dale, you identified Chip because of the black nose. What's the identifying features for these two guys?
Statler is the more angular looking mean one, whereas Waldorf
okay.
is more the Wilford Brimley type, with the mustache. One has a mustache.
Better analogy.
Thank you.
Waldorf has a mustache.
Got
right?
diabetes.
Yes. Now, Statler was voiced by Richard Hunt, and Waldorf was voiced by Jim Henson. And I'll come into play as we get a little bit further into this, but a lot of people know Statler and Waldorf, but they're not really kind of sure who's who. And, obviously, they're also named after a hotel. Never mind. I'm getting too far down. I'm getting too far down the rabbit hole.
It is. It's just so
Yes.
much. Like every
Way
time
to
you
lay
turn
back.
around-
Way to lay back.
But it's
I
stuff
love-
you never think about. That's great. I think it's great.
Yes. Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
All right, no
tough.
problem. No problem. Again, I don't want to do all these, but just a few fun ones, right?
Sure.
My Muppets Kitchens and Pyrotechnic Research.
Oh, come on.
That would be the Great Gonzo.
No.
No, you're thinking that because of pyrotechnics, but no.
Yep.
Say it one more time, Lee.
Muppet Kitchens and Pyrotechnic Research.
Come on.
Swedish Chef.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's see. How about, you guessed this one already, Department of Poultry and Mold Cultivation. That's Gonzo.
I was going to say, why'd you give him I saw a bunch of confused faces over
poultry.
here. Why'd you give it away?
Yeah.
Poultry of
Department of Health.
Poultry.
That's Camilla.
Yeah.
There you go. Cute and cuddly and aw shucks attorneys. This one might be a little harder for you guys.
There's Bean.
There
Bean
you go.
Bunny, there
Good
you go.
job.
That's
Good
his little
job.
bunny.
Yeah. Aw shucks. And one more. Let's do one more. Division of Decibel Development.
Decibel development.
Would that be animal?
Division of
An
Decibel
animal.
That's loud.
Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's
what
a
I go
drummer.
with.
Yeah. And there's probably like,
Decibel.
then there's more on here, but again, I don't want to, we could be here all day on every single detail, but it's a fun little thing.
Yes.
And you might not notice this, but even the suite numbers have little jokes in them. So Miss Piggy's office number is located in very sweet 4444. And Bean Bunny's suite is too sweet for you. The number two suite, number 4 you.
Too sweet.
So, yeah. Now, this is probably the most known one here, but if you go up to the theater ticket booth operator, you notice that they've stepped out and there's a sign that reads, "Be back in 5 minutes. Key is under the mat." And yes, there is a key under the mat.
Mm-hmm. Back in the day, you used to get like some kind of magical moment gifts, like
Tom Sawyer Island situation.
Yeah, and that was like back before the internet was a thing, and people were like, they would reward kids who had the balls to be like, keys under the mat. Yeah, let's see about that. And they would reward kids. Now it's just kind of like a thing where you look and it's there.
Stuck there.
I'm about to say you can't move that. Yeah.
No, I don't know that you ever could though.
No, I don't think you could either.
I remember in that room behind it, there's a bulletin board. There's a bunch of wanted posters on it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
One of them was for Fozzie Bear saying for impersonating a comic.
Wacko.
I remember there was a Miss Piggy one too, but I don't remember what the tagline was on it.
Interesting. I don't ever remember that.
I don't remember that
abuse.
Wait to look that up.
When you said the wanted posters, I was thinking the last sequel they did.
Muppets Most Wanted?
Yeah, there you go. Where they did the impersonator Kermit the Frog. I thought that's what we were going with.
No, it was some classic Muppet jokes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, fun. So since you mentioned that, there are some movie posters in this area, which they've all been Muppetized, basically. There's Dive Hard 2, and they're, the guy's a swim instructor, and the tagline says, "Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, someone drained the pool."
Nice.
They drained the pool.
And you got Star Chores, and this one's starring Kermit as Fluke Flystalker, and Gonzo as the bad guy in the black suit.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So this brings me back to Muppet Babies, where Kermit was
Muppet Babies were great.
That was my favorite cartoon, where Kermit was known as Luke Skyhopper.
That's right.
And but if you go back to the original Muppet Show where Mark Hamill appeared, Gonzo was known as Darth Nader because he played Darth Vader on the show. Now, like in the Muppet Babies version, Animal played Darth Vader, and Han Solo was played by Gonzo. He was Gonzolo, actually. Now that I think about it,
that's a catchier name.
Oh, I loved Muppet Babies. That was my favorite show.
That's a catchier name, actually.
Yes. But Darth Nader, for whatever reason, was the Darth Vader name in the Star Wars Takeover by Mark Hamill, C-3PO, Chewbacca, R2-D2, etc. on the Muppet Show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's cool, man.
Better than Nerf Herder.
Don't ask me why.
Nerf Herder, yeah. Better than Nerf Herder.
Here's one for you, Kirk. Pirates of the Amphibian at Wit's End.
Oh, wow.
And the tagline says, on the high seas, it's easy turning green.
That's a good point if you don't have enough medicine.
You guys remember that little movie Wild Hogs with Tim Allen and John Travolta? They were on motorcycles.
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. So this one is Wild Frogs. Do something wild before you croak.
Wild frog can't be tamed.
That's right.
I guess they thought that was going to be like a franchise or something.
Everybody's got a little wild frog.
Yeah.
Last time I met a wild frog, they were poisonous, but okay.
Hey.
We got Cleopatra. Starring Miss Piggy as her swineness. Miss Piggy stars as her swineness.
Good.
That's also from the creators of Mummy Dearest.
Oh, gotta love that wordplay.
It Called from Outer Space, featuring Bunsen Honeydew as himself and Beaker as somebody else.
One of my favorite new shirts I see on Redbubble is Bunsen Honeydew as Dr. Loomis and Beaker as Michael Myers. I'm serious. It's a great shirt. Great shirt. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
His mouth used to freak me out. Like, it did. I'm sorry. It reminded me of like when it was lunchtime for the Flintstones or something. Go ahead. Sorry.
Throw it in there.
The Pig-Siding Adventure.
Right there.
Pig-Siding Adventure. These are cool names, right? So starring Kermit as Captain Seacruise.
Nice.
Fozzie is Al Wet. Gonzo is Harry Kane. And Miss Piggy as Stormy Waters.
Ooh, okay.
Better than Stormy Daniels.
So there's, again, that's not all of them. Oh, not good. Not good.
I'm still laughing.
Not all the posters, check out the rest of them for yourself. But again, just
great.
Such fun.
Well, you got to find them because there's no queue for the Muppets anymore, so you really don't get to walk by these posters anymore.
And I remember when there used to be like a big ass queue for those rides, man.
I'm right there with you, dude. I'm right there with you.
All right, so let's head into Muppet Vision 3D.
Heading in.
So towards the front of the pre-show area, you'll find some flat cutouts of fruit labeled 2D Fruities, which is, of course, a wordplay on Tutti Frutti.
What about that Tutti Frutti? Do that. Tutti Frutti.
The hell was that?
You ever heard that song?
Is that Proper 12?
Well, no, that was a song. Do that, Tutti
Frutti?
Tutti Frutti.
Yeah. Never mind.
Oh, Rudy.
Go on.
Gotta have some fun tonight. Okay, go ahead.
If you don't know this one, you probably just want to just push pause right now, book yourself a trip to Hollywood Studios, and come back later, because this was the first one I ever noticed when I walked in. It's the famous net hanging from above, filled with blocks of Jell-O. There's a net full of Jell-O, which of course is a tribute to Annette Funicello.
Yes,
one of the more famous original, probably the most famous original Musketeer.
Brunette.
Yes. Very good beach movies back in the day.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. Beach Party.
Beach Party Bingo. That's the name of the game.
Her and Dawn Wells, man, they were two people that were sexy into their 70s.
Yeah, beauty ages well.
Yeah.
I love experienced women.
I know you do. I hear you, buddy. It's about giving the experience.
Note to self: keep mom away from Kevin.
Wow, that won't be an awkward conversation. So
you were wondering why Kevin was asking for your mom's number.
Yeah.
Man, that's so weird. I can't even go there.
You can't go there?
No, it's somebody. It's Danny's mom.
That was so weird. You can't go there?
It's Danny's mom.
There's a professional relationship dating back a decade.
That is weird.
Yes, no.
I am learning
can't
so
go there.
much on this season of Magic Our Way
I have
right
limits.
now. You
should.
do have.
We have seasons? I didn't know we had seasons.
I didn't know Kevin had limits. I knew he had seasons.
Right? All the leaves are brown. Kevin won't touch your bobs. That's good. All right.
That is good.
Yeah. I just didn't know. You just put a limit on it. Go
There's
ahead,
a
Lee.
limit. No,
I didn't know. We were talking about
Definite limit.
in your face and all that stuff. You threw me off. This is like the spinning thing all over again.
All right, come on. Where are we going next, Lee?
Yeah, Lee.
Also, look around the room for different crates and boxes that contain items for the stars.
There's so much in those in that
few,
pre-show.
yes.
It really is.
There's
a lot.
way too much.
So a couple of these here. Kermit's crate comes from Amphibians, the total swamp store. Contains lily pads, pond scum, pre-shrunk water lilies, and a one-size-fits-all log.
Oh, perfect.
Very convenient to have that. Miss Piggy's box contains, it actually has many boxes. So she has one box that contains satin evening gowns, and then another box that contains more satin evening gowns, and another box that contains the rest of the satin evening.
Nice.
Gonzo's crate is filled with mold, fungus, helmets, and various combinations of those
Mold,
items.
spores, and fungus.
That's crazy.
Him and Igor Spangler.
He's a science experiment waiting to happen.
That's good.
And then Sam the Eagle, patriotic paraphernalia.
Yes.
Flags, fireworks, and so on and so on.
Yeah,
Captain America's shield in there, something good.
that's right. Wakanda.
Represent
No,
the red, white,
not
and blue.
Wakanda. Not Wakanda.
Not Wakanda? You can't
America.
have Winter Soldier's arm in there?
America.
America.
Now, before the pre-show film begins, you'll see a test pattern on the screen, and Scooter crosses from screen to screen. If you take a quick look, you'll actually find a hidden Kermit in the test pattern.
What?
Oh,
That
nice.
is-
Might not notice that.
I
love
did
that
not know
pre-show.
this, and I never
love
noticed that.
I love that pre-show.
Yeah, well, the pre-show, that's one of the best ones, and there's a lot to that pre-show.
That's freaky.
But before
There's
we
way
get
too
into
many.
that, one more thing about the pre-show area. If you're a casual Muppets fan, look around, you'll find a Muppet Jim Henson.
Oh,
The version that you see in the Country Trio. If you ever
the
you
first episode.
Okay, so the Country Trio
Yes.
is actually Jim Henson, Jerry Nelson, and Frank Oz, the original Muppet performers. Those three.
The banjo, guitar, and a bass.
There's an original five. So Jerry Nelson, who did Robin, and who did oh my God, Jerry's always the one. He does Camilla. He does these Floyd Pepper. He does voices, but nobody necessarily iconic. Frank Oz, I mean, that's all the voice. That's Miss Piggy. That's Fozzie. That's Grover. So many voices, and then Jim, obviously, Kermit, the Muppet newscaster, Rolf the dog. I mean, you name them. Jim's all over the place. But then there were two additional ones that became the original Muppet 5, and that was Richard Hunt, who did Statler to his Jim's Waldorf. He did, we'll get into him later. And then Dave Goles, who did Gonzo, and New Zealand, and Bunsen Honeydew, and a couple of other people. So, I mean, the Country Trio, though, it's Jerry Nelson, Frank Oz, and Jim Henson, and the likenesses is uncanny. But if you look in the pre-show area, you will see a huge portrait. It's not the Muppet itself. It's a portrait of Jim Henson as the Muppet Jim Henson.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yes. It's a really, really, really great homage. And what ends up happening is, here I am in my soapbox again. So what ends up happening again?
No, go for it.
Just want to let you know how I feel.
So we all know the Electric Mayhem, right?
Yes.
So what ends up happening is that all the Muppet performers eventually move on. So when you're really it's kind of like being a made man in the Mafia. When you moved on in the Muppets, you moved on to the Electric Mayhem. So maybe in the Country Trio, you started off as Jim and Frank and Jerry. But when you move on to the Electric Mayhem, then there's 5 performers. And you've got Jim as Dr. Teeth, Frank as Animal, Jerry Nelson as Floyd Pepper, Dave Goles as oh my God, the blue guy. God, why am I blanking on him? I want to keep.
The teeth?
Or the saxophone?
The saxophone guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, the dude, the crazy hair and the shades.
Zoot. That's his name. His name is Zoot. Zoot's the blue guy. That's Dave Goles. And then the last guy, who did I miss out? Oh, Richard Hunt is Janice.
Oh, I'm with Janice.
Yeah, Janice.
That's the
Intersexual.
5. Now,
Scooter's sister.
Yes. No, it's not. Well, I guess you could, because Scooter and Janice are voiced by the same guy, Richard Hunt.
Yeah, I remember episodes of Muppet Show where they're like the brother and sister.
Yeah, she was
I didn't know that, though.
Yeah.
I remember Muppet Babies where it was Scooter and Skeeter. That's what I thought you were talking about at first.
Oh.
No, she was
Okay.
cool. She had the braids. Yeah.
Braids, yeah.
Yeah.
As time went on, if you watch Great Muppet Caper, you're going to see another addition to the Electric Mayhem. Now, as we know it, because it kind of stopped being, as far as they're concerned, when the Electric Mayhem existed with those 5 members. But as time went on, you see the introduction of a new character called Lips. And that was voiced by Steve Whitmire, who came along, and he's also the voice of Rizzo the Rat. He became the new Kermit. He's the voice of Waldo, the spirit of 3D. Steve Whitmire became a member of that trio. And then finally, the last addition to the Electric Mayhem that I can remember was Kevin Clash, who was the voice of Elmo. And he became a character by the name of, oh my God, I'm gonna struggle on this one. But he was on Arsenio when it was Jim Henson's Clifford. Damn it, right. Clifford was the name of the character that Kevin Clash portrayed on the Arsenio Hall show.
I remember that, yeah.
He already had pneumonia at that point in time. His time was ticking, and no one really knew it. And Kevin Clash came on and kind of stole the show as Clifford. And where did he debut? When the Muppets took over Disney World. There was a special done, and Clifford was first debuted there. So it kind of became, as you became a bona fide member of the Muppets, you got an Electric Mayhem character. And even though we only remember the 5 to this point, that there were 7.
I was gonna say Elmo sold a lot of toys during Christmas.
That's awesome.
So that was a long way to get around. I'm sure a lot of people are bored right now, but just to kind of give some context.
I think some people got wrapped into that because you talk about made men. They were made men or made puppets.
That's actually
made Muppets. There you go.
In the Mafia, you got your button. In the Muppets, you got an Electric Mayhem character.
All right, made Muppet.
Man, that's amazing. Like I did not know any of that at all. I just thought they were characters.
Well, that's why you know this.
Yeah, no, dude, it was unbelievably clever the way they go ahead and do that. And if you watch, I mean, again, if you watch the movies you go along, you start to realize like that's a new character. I never saw him before, and I never saw him before, and you start to realize it as they go along. But that's how it worked out. As you became a made man in the Muppets, you got an Electric Mayhem character.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I want an Electric Mayhem character.
Yeah, same here.
Quick question and side note. Get at a point, get it out if you want to. And those names y'all said, no, Jim's dead. Is any of them associated with the Muppets anymore?
Yes, Dave Goelz.
Okay.
The voice of Gonzo is still affiliated with it. Jerry Nelson died. Recently, within the last 3 to 4 years. Jerry Nelson died. We'll get to Richard Hunt. Jim Henson died. Obviously, we know. Frank Oz is still around and is not, and that's a crime, is not affiliated with the Muppets. He's affiliated with Star Wars. He still does Yoda, but he is not doing anything with Miss Piggy. It's Eric Jacobson, very talented performer, very good performer, and probably should be because I don't know that Frank has the energy to do it anymore. So, yeah, man. I mean, Dave Goelz is the only original Muppet performer that is still going. And he's got issues now. Physically performing the characters can take a toll, and again, we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, wow.
So real quick, though, before we move actually into the attraction itself, since we're talking about this kind of stuff, obviously there is another hidden Mickey in the pre-show, and that's when a not-so-hidden Mickey appears in the pre-show. And who would that be, guys?
Rizzo the Rat.
There you go. Good job, Kevin.
Hello, I'm a corporate symbol.
Yeah.
What a great parody. How awesome was that? So, also noticeable in the pre-show is that there is one Muppet performer of the original 5 that is missing, and who would that be?
The original
Miss
5.
Piggy.
No.
Really?
No. I'm not saying the original Muppets.
You
I'm talking about the original Muppet performers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Miss Piggy was performed by Frank Oz, and he's right. Miss Piggy wasn't there, although I think you hear her off camera. But Sam the Eagle was, and Sam the Eagle was voiced by Frank Oz. Who was the one guy missing of the original 5 Muppet performers in the pre-show?
Mr. Gold.
It's so who's Mr. Gold?
I don't know. You say Mr.
It's so obvious. It's staring you in the face. Who's the one?
Kermit.
Fran Brill?
Whoa, go back. What did you just say, Lee?
I said, is it Kermit?
It's Jim Henson.
Yeah.
Because
one of us should say that.
Yes. Jim Henson. A lot of people don't realize this, but when the first pass of Muppet Vision 3D was done, they looked at it and they're like, okay, this is cool. We need to tweak this, we need to tweak that, and we need to tweak that. And in that time, they're like, all right, cool, let's take a break. That's when Jim Henson died. Was right in between then. So when Jim died, that pre-show had not been produced. So that's why Jim Henson's characters, be it Kermit or the newscaster or Rolf the dog or any of them, Jim Henson is not present in the
pre-show.
Oh, no
that you
kidding.
see leading into Muppet Vision 3D is a very noticeable absence in that, and that's when you know the exact.
So none of the characters he voiced are in the pre-show.
Not a one.
But that's smooth. That's smooth how they do that then, because you're like,
he couldn't voice them, of course.
Right.
He passed away.
Exactly.
And then I assume because it was such a short window to when they were going to actually open the attraction, they didn't have time to get someone to do the voices.
That leads to the next great story about this, and Eli, you'll love this.
I love it all.
So everyone took the short vacation, and in the midst of that, Jim gets sick with pneumonia and dies, and it's a shock.
I don't love that.
To no. But so after Jim dies, they're like at a standstill because Jim made all these notes of things that needed to be changed, And Michael Eisner was desperate to go ahead and obviously get this attraction into the parks. He'd entered this agreement with Jim. We had this attraction that's 3/4 of the way done. So who's the guy you turn to that gets this attraction done if you're Michael Eisner?
Frank Oz?
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
It has to be Frank Oz, his right-hand man.
That's exactly right. So after Jim dies, Michael Eisner goes to Frank Oz and asks him to complete the 3D film of Muppet Vision 3D based upon Jim's plans. And Michael Eisner reportedly, well, not reportedly, it's just about being confirmed, offered Frank Oz $50,000 to finish the film. And Frank respectively refused and said, I don't want any money. I'm doing this for Jim.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's right there for the heart.
Whoa.
And 50,000 ain't enough.
No,
That's a lot of work.
I'm hitting your heart, but I'm going to hit your heart a little bit lower.
Please hit it harder.
Can I consensually touch your heart right now?
You have my permission. Look me in the eye while you tell me.
He said yes.
Deep down.
Yeah.
Feel.
But say it slowly.
Give me the art. Give me the art fuel.
Just say it slowly, though.
So Michael Eisner asked Frank.
We care.
Michael Eisner asked Frank, he said, is there anything I can do for you then for continuing to take on this project? And Frank said, I'm a little low on socks. Socks. So Michael Eisner sent Frank Oz a whole basket load of socks, including Mickey socks, to complete the project and bring Muppet Vision 3D, including the pre-show that we all know and love today, and to bring that to life.
So you sent them $50,000 worth of socks?
I don't know if he dimed it out to $50,000 on the nose.
That's a big basket.
That's what I would do.
But Frank
That's
Oz,
like a whole net. That's a whole net full of socks.
Frank Oz got a load of socks, and he's confirmed that story on Twitter. By the way,
No, I feel
cool.
that. I feel that. Like, you don't want to dog a fellow creator out like that, and they're like, the guy, you don't get a chance to talk to your man because he passed away. It's unfortunate. So I hear that. I respect that.
well, I respect that too. But I mean, at the same time, there's what integrity. If you're Frank Oz, you could have used that moment as a means to hold Michael Eisner up and say, yeah, I want this, and what loyalty, what admiration you have for your mentor, who this is his last gift to us. This is his last gift. That is why if you take Muppet Vision 3D out the parks in any form, it is such a sacrilege, because it is the last thing that Jim Henson ever worked on, and Frank Oz had to finish it because Frank Oz took nothing but a bunch of socks.
He better than me, though. He better than me. I would have took something else other than socks.
As your friend, I would hope that if something happened to me and I had a good project in the work, you'd be like, hey, look, no matter what, I'm finishing this for Danny.
I would finish it, but I'm not asking for socks.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm not saying $50 million or nothing like that. I'm saying socks.
He's asking for proper 12.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Or condoms.
Make you smart.
Orange juice.
McKellen.
couple cases of orange juice.
Yeah, I could get socks, but yeah, they go get a
Pagodas.
drink.
You want
I
some
would,
pagodas.
I would take a lapu lapu, something like that. Yeah.
Don't price me out, because Bob Iger and Bob Chapek don't pay as much as Michael Eisner.
No, we would definitely. I have good entertainment lawyers. I would definitely
That's
put that
sad,
on.
man. One day, one of us, we're going to pass away.
But I like that, though. I like that.
We got to continue that show, man.
Well, that's why
that.
That's why we have the Magic Our Way podcast, because our voices live on in perpetuity.
It's truly
true. That's
magical
very
and
true.
whatnot.
Yeah, all that.
Truly magical.
That's
and
crazy.
whatnot.
But I thought that story.
No, that's awesome.
And can I tell you, this is why you won't be getting that Muppet Visions 3D show from me, because I'm blowing all my good material on.
You got way more material, son. You got way more material.
Go ahead, Lee.
All right.
Yeah,
So as you enter the theater, look back at the projector, and you'll see it's a yell and howl projector,
Awesome. Yeah.
Clever.
which is of course a play on the words the bell and howl projectors that are found in most movie theaters.
Yeah.
And also, when you hear that Swedish Chef voice, turn around again, and you'll see he's the one running the projector.
Yes.
Burk.
Yeah. So if you don't turn around, you're not going to notice. You're not going to see.
You got to
these
turn
things.
around in a theater because there's so much stuff going on.
Turn
Yeah.
around.
It's beautiful.
I mean, really and truly, like it's a real privilege to be able to go to Disney several times, because you can you can see the show, enjoy it, whatever. But then when you go back the next time, you can look for a lot of these little things, and you can focus in on maybe Statler and Waldorf, or you can focus in on the things that are going around in your peripherals.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot going on. Here's something that you may not know. So did you know that Muppet Vision 3D is the only 3D attraction that calls their eyeglasses 3D glasses?
I did know that.
I did know that too as well.
Yes, because I prepped a show on it. But I mean, a lot of people out there probably don't.
Yeah, so Tough to Be a Bug, they call them bug eyes. Star Tours calls them flight glasses. Toy Story Midway Mania calls them 3D game glasses, which is pretty close, but they say game glasses. And PhilharMagic calls them opera glasses.
That's right.
Yes.
So keeping with the theme. But here they're just plain old 3D glasses.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Something else you may not know, but it makes sense, is that the cast members that are chosen to play Sweetums, they actually have to go through special training to make sure they have all the mannerisms, the walk, all that stuff has to be just right. And when the attraction first opened, of course, they actually brought in experts from Jim Henson Studios to help train those actors that were going to play Sweetums.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, this is killing me because I can't wait to get into this next part.
Yeah, but before we get to that, look, Sweetums, I didn't know if you know this, but there's only 2 Sweetums that are on deck to perform each and every day at the Hollywood studios. And those guys are Actors Equity performers. So they're union. They're union actors that are made to do that particular role, trained by the Henson Company.
Yes.
And as opposed to the other cast members that work Muppet Vision 3D, they have their own break room, dressing room, and bathroom, which is different because the cast members that work Muppet Vision 3D, they have to go to Pizza Rizzo to use the bathroom. But yeah, they have a very awesome gig. They have their own setup ready to go.
Well, Kevin, did you know that there's a set of 3D classes that come off of that conveyor belt, and they're supposed to be the exact same classes that you used to wear when you rode in the Magic Eye Theater when you saw Magic Journeys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And did you know that those glasses are only used once per day?
No, that I did not know.
It's Disney, so they have enough to afford to buy glasses that can be worn once a day.
That makes sense.
And Muppet Vision 3D guys take, what do you call it, a journey once a day to bring all the glasses that have been used back to the behind the Journey to Imagination to get them cleaned, and that's it. They just bring a whole new set of glasses back, and they're only used once a day. So you get a fresh, the glasses that you wear that day only get worn once by you, and then they get cleaned, and they get worn the next day by somebody else.
Okay.
Now this was before
that
COVID?
makes sense.
This is before COVID. No, they I mean, think about it. Disney can afford enough glasses for everybody that day in that park.
Yeah, it's just
regardless
plastic.
if it's busy or not busy. The funny thing is that the Disney and Universal use the same machines to clean these things. Universal, it's a wet process. So Universal, they didn't buy enough, I guess, so they keep constantly are washing them. So sometimes you may get a wet pair of 3D glasses from
Put on
Universal.
wet glasses.
But
so when you're
Disney-
watching Shrek 4D, check the moisture.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
But at Disney, no, they bought enough to cover the entire day. The regular is busy or not busy.
By the way,
They got it.
That's
Wow.
another little hidden gem about this attraction is that it was Muppet Vision 3D, Muppet Vision 4D at some point.
Yes.
It had a couple of different names as well.
Yeah, it's a great attraction, man. It's crazy how all this stuff works.
Still, to me, the best attraction in Hollywood Studios. And, well, no, I take that back. That's
Most
hyperbole.
amusing.
But, yeah, it's my favorite attraction, bar none. Rise of the Resistance is next level. There's no doubt about it.
But it's pretty damn good, though,
It's-
man. It's been around for a while, yes?
It's damn near close to perfect, and that just goes to show you how great this attraction is.
Let's
Yeah,
see how
look.
Avengers Academy works out.
We're recording this on Saturday, February 20th, 2021. And
Yes.
the day before, on the 19th, all seasons of The Muppet Show released on Disney+. So
Yes.
I'm hoping that this resurgence in popularity and stuff, and I did my part. And
Yes.
my kids are watching this too.
Same here.
I only own the DVDs of season 1. I didn't own the rest of the DVDs.
I
don't know,
own
really.
seasons 1 through 3, and still, even then, as soon as this came out, I was all over season 4. I watched a Star Wars one. My wife is a huge Arlo Guthrie fan. Didn't even know Arlo Guthrie was in season 4. We already watched that.
Oh man, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the season with Shields and Yarnell. I remember them. Yeah, I look forward to that. The first episode we saw last night with my kids is Rita Moreno.
Yes.
I forgot how hot she was.
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
god!
back in the day, yeah.
That was
Classic hot.
her and Animal, you give me fever. Oh man,
I was like, Animal, let me bite
That
her.
was hot. Yeah, but that's classic hot. That's like she's like classy hot.
And Sweetums carries her away. I love that.
Yes.
No,
Have y'all watched it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, all the
We did that
Star
last
Wars
night
episodes
after-
there?
Yes.
I haven't looked into it.
Luke Skywalker and his cousin Mark Hamill.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
keep, switching back and forth. Yes.
That's
No, it's going to be
awesome.
awesome. No, I'm looking forward
It's
to
really, it really is one of those things where now when you see what all of Mark Hamill is doing with impersonations, because on that show, Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill, I think it was Mark Hamill, impersonates Kermit and Fozzie. And he's already doing his voices on the show. And he does the voice of Kermit, and Kermit's like, oh, nice. So who's that supposed to be? And he does Fozzie, and Fozzie's like, awesome. Who's that supposed to be? And Mark just kind of has to shrug it off. But it's a brilliant show.
No, it's awesome. The first episode, even if you watch that, has everybody that's in there.
I need to take
It's
I need to
awesome.
take a week's vacation and just watch them all. Just
You do.
all right. You guys, Statler and Waldorf a little bit. They're almost a show in and of themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Eli and I have been called the Statler and Waldorf of most rooms.
Which one is which? Who's who?
That's a good question.
I mean, it depends on the. It depends on the
Eli's
subject.
nicer, I would think, but he's a little bit more.
Depends on how much. It depends on how late in the night it goes.
But he sent a lot of people home.
I've broken a lot of spirits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody comes
just-
back from me. They come back to talk to
All right.
Danny.
Go ahead.
Go.
Just a few of their the funny bits that they have here. They're and of course everyone knows they are the hecklers in the audience. They're up in the gallows there, and it's
What?
and so Statler says, "Hey Waldorf, what are we going to see in here today? It's one of those 3D movies. Put your glasses on." So they put their glasses on, and Statler goes, "Hey, look at that guy in the Goofy mask. It's not a mask." Oh, sorry, lady.
Sorry, lady. Keep going. I love this stuff. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Hey, look, an orchestra of penguins.
Yeah, probably took the job for a halibut.
You know what my favorite was is when I think it was Miss Piggy they showed. That was a very moving moment. Yeah, wish I'd move it to Pittsburgh.
Oh, and then on stage, and Statler says, "Oh, Waldorf, it's that dumb bear again." He goes, "Hey, bear, you're not even funny in 3D."
Oh, no, not you guys. How'd you get here?
Oh, and then
We took we lost.
We entered the contest and we lost.
That was it exactly. That's it.
Fozzie says, "I'm going to shower you with humor," and he squeezes the flower. It's it's got the effect with the water and stuff. And
Oh, he's trying to drown us. What kind of act is that? An act of mercy.
an act of mercy.
Yeah, it's like which one is dark?
That's a good one.
And this is great, right? So the end of the show, he's like, so what do you think? He goes, we got time to go to the bathroom before the next show. Statler says, "No, we can't. We're bolted to these seats."
Yeah, no, you fool.
That's right. We're bolted for the seats.
Oh man, those guys are classic.
No, it's a great
man.
show.
No, they always
Jesus.
send off. They always send off the Muppet Show really well.
So at the end, they duck for cover.
Yes.
Use their hands with the white
We
flag. So,
surrender. We surrender.
We surrender.
Yeah.
We surrender.
I mean, it makes sense when you hear this, but you may not know this. That's actually those hands with the flags are separate from the
Yes.
animatronics. So they dug down, and then there's hands or arms attached to the symphony box. Those raise up and raise the white flags.
That
Absolutely,
makes
yes.
sense. That
They really have
actually makes
three
sense.
arms if you think about it that way.
Yeah.
All right, guys, did you notice this?
What?
The fire truck, you know, at the fire truck at the end in which Kermit comes out on the
Yes.
ladder and stuff.
Yes.
Did you ever notice what's on the red license plate that he has?
No.
No.
Cinderella's castle is on that license plate.
I did not notice that.
He partially covers it, but if you look closely as he's coming out, because it's 3D, you'll notice it's like, oh, it's Cinderella's castle. How about that?
Okay. All right. I was going to save this for when I did it,
Yeah.
but I'll mention it since you're kind of bringing this up now.
Yeah, go for it.
When Kermit backs in on that fire truck and you see Kermit hanging out on the end of that ladder. All right.
You can talk about Sweetums.
Yes. Oh, you
the
go.
double Sweetums.
Yes. Yeah, there's a second Sweetums on the grassy knoll.
It's like double rainbow, but
Yes!
Sweetums.
Yeah, there's two Sweetums.
It's like Sweetums here and Sweetums there.
Sweetums
What?
there. I remember seeing that and being like, "Whoa, wait, what?"
Yeah, that's. I don't understand why they've never fixed that continuity error.
Well, because I think they think that Sweetums has already vacated the premises by the time that he appears on screen, but they're just a little off. Is that Sweetums kind of says this thing is like, whoa, what a big explosion, and he walks off and he waves off, but as he's waving off, you can clearly see
that he's right there.
Second
Yeah.
Sweetums in the movie itself.
And that makes sense because the cast member I was listening to the work Muppet Vision 3D, he says that sometimes the equity actors that work Sweetums would not show up. Sometimes there would not be Sweetums, even like when he's searching for Bean Bunny and the lights.
Yes.
They have lights that happen through the theater. It's magic. But sometimes they'd forget and there'll be no Sweetums coming out.
That's not
I've
sweet.
never experienced that, but that's kind of strange.
I've never experienced that as well, but I mean, I could imagine where they could make that work to a certain degree.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that whole thing where Sweetums comes out and you see him on screen as he's walking away, that has always that's. I didn't need the internet to tell me that it was a continuity error.
Right.
I caught that myself.
Yeah, no, that's pretty strange.
It just seems like as much as Disney is paying attention to detail that they would have fixed that by now. Maybe it's also one of those things that's like, well, it's kind of a fun thing that happens. Let's just leave it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like I've never noticed the guy in the film versus the guy that's in the theater first.
Well, yeah,
I'll notice him first, and then when he's gone, it's like, oh, wait.
Then you look up and there's a Sweetums
Yeah,
on
there's
screen.
a Sweetums right there on the screen.
Because I think you're meant to believe that, again, you're watching this in the theater and that Sweetums just walked to the back of the theater.
Yeah.
That's what you're meant to
And
believe.
that's where he appears, is behind the fire truck.
Right, but it just happens so quickly that if you look up at the right time, you're going to clearly notice there's a Sweetums here and there's a Sweetums there.
Right, yeah. If they don't time it right, it's off.
There's
Completely
also
off.
a Pluto back there, by the way.
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
You're right. And the balloons are a little different. You can say that, yeah.
All right, cool.
But the second thing I was going to point out, as far as Did You Know This, but the Penguin Orchestra, which is one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a musician.
Obviously.
God love the
But
Penguins.
the conductor of the Penguin Orchestra is none other than Nicky Napoleon. And yes, it is the same Nicky Napoleon and his Emperor Penguins from the Little Muppet Monsters thing.
Little
Yes.
Muppet.
That's right. Absolutely, yeah.
Little Muppet.
And then in celebration of 30 years of the Muppets, he joined up with Dr. Teeth, and they formed an orchestra that was conducted by Nigel.
Was it
How about
called
that?
Cold Teeth?
No, it wasn't called Cold
No,
Teeth.
Nigel was the original conductor of the Muppet Show band.
Yes, he was originally.
yes, he was.
Yes,
Yeah.
You'll see him. He's a very standard looking
human Muppet,
guy.
I guess.
Human
Yeah,
Muppet,
yeah.
Whenever the Muppet Show closes, you'll see Nigel leading the conduction.
You never
of it.
see
He's
his
never-
face, though, really.
No, you see his face.
No, you see
his
him.
face.
You see him. Yeah, you
He's
definitely see him. Yeah.
Definitely, that's who that is.
Yep.
But Little Muppet Monsters is so when Muppet Babies first debuted, it was a 2-part hour. I want to say.
Yeah, I think
which
at
was
least
a
that, yeah.
live action show, which was Little Muppet Monsters and Muppet Babies, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And Little Muppet Monsters didn't make it very long. I think it was gone by the first season.
Right.
And then Muppet Babies took over. But when Muppet Babies used to close, you would hear the theme song for Little Muppet Monsters.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's correct. And Nicky Napoleon and his Emperor Penguins was the band from Little Muppet Monsters. And he was the leader of that group, and he also leads the orchestra in Muppet Vision 3D. And he is the one animatronic that goes up higher than the rest.
Yes.
And if he doesn't work, then that attraction could go 101.
Oh, get out of here.
He's one of the reasons why they could go 101 if Nicky Napoleon does not work.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Nicky Napoleon Dynamite, man.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Napoleon.
It's him and his buddies that work the cannon too.
Oh,
so if
wow.
any of those don't work, then yeah, the attraction's going 101.
How awesome
Wow.
is that?
It's done.
That's crazy.
And 101 for you. If you're a Disney fan, y'all know what 101 is, right?
yeah,
Yes,
but just in case we don't.
Yeah, in case you don't, that means the attraction goes offline for some particular reason.
It
It is
broke.
closed. It's broken.
It
They didn't want to
broke.
say
It's
it's
all
broken.
broke.
It's 101. But yeah, that's what I got with that. Nicky Napoleon, of course, conductor. I had to point that out.
All right. 2 things. The first being is that, Muppet Vision 3D opened on May 16th, 1991. A year to the exact day that Jim Henson passed away on May 16th, 1990.
Eerie.
But what most people don't know, most people realize that Muppet Vision 3D was the last project that Jim Henson worked on, which is the last time you heard Jim Henson voice Kermit or Rolf the dog, who I don't even think Rolf appeared on there, but Jim Henson also voiced Waldorf. Statler was Richard Hunt. Waldorf was Jim Henson. Jim Henson voiced a lot of the Muppets there. So while most people realize that Muppet Vision 3D represented the last time we heard Jim Henson's voicing the Muppets, what most people don't realize is that Muppet Vision 3D is pretty much the last time that most of us heard Richard Hunt voice his Muppet characters. And Richard Hunt was an insanely talented human being. Do you know who Richard Hunt is, Eli? You're wrong. You do know who Richard Hunt is. You ever seen Trading Places?
Yeah.
Remember, send Wilson back in there. Tell him to sell. Tell him to sell. Remember Wilson?
Yes. Okay.
That was Richard Hunt.
So wait, you had two Muppet people in Trading Places?
Yes, Frank Oz and Richard Hunt were both in Trading Places.
He's the guy, Richard Hunt. So he's the guy that stands at the end with the things in his hands and drops them.
That's it. When they carry him out of there, get back in there and sell. I
did not know that.
And everything's crashing and stuff.
That's Richard Hunt, and that's not the only movie he's been. He was in another one as well that y'all would know if I
you said 48 hours, I'll blow up. I'll be like, what?
I'm not going to say that.
I don't think I'm sure he's died. I'm just like, wow.
But Richard Hunt, do you know who he voiced? Let's do the list. Statler.
Okay. To
Jim Henson's Waldorf, which meant that Muppet Vision 3D was the last time y'all heard Statler and Waldorf. Where there was, you never heard a Richard Hunt Statler without a Jim Henson Waldorf. You never heard a Waldorf without Jim Henson. It just didn't happen. They both died almost right on top of one another. Like, I want to say, Richard Hunt died on January 7th, 1992. And Muppet Vision 3D opened May 16th, 1991. So it was less than 8 months. Here's the thing. Richard Hunt was an openly gay member of the Muppets company, the original five. Yes, and so he was one of the first, notable people he was actually, when they did the AIDS quilt, he died of AIDS.
Okay.
Yeah, and just an insanely talented, he voiced Junior Gorg. If y'all ever watched Fraggle Rock, Janice.
Wow.
From the Electric Mayhem, Scooter. He was the voice of Scooter.
Wow. Okay.
Have you ever seen that? Beaker. Richard Hunt did Beaker. And amongst many others. I mean, we will be here all night if we get into this Sesame Street characters. And,
he did Sully.
And when Jim Henson died, it was like, whoa, that hit us. But what we didn't know is that Jim Henson already knew Richard Hunt was dying. And Richard Hunt had long since stopped physically performing his characters on a regular basis. He would do it occasionally. If you watch Jim Henson Memorial, you'll see Richard Hunt perform Scooter. And you can tell Richard Hunt's a little off. He's gaunt. He's very gaunt. You remember Freddie Mercury when you saw him performing Show Must Go On, like, that kind of thing. Like when you saw the physical toll that AIDS has on your body. I mean, it was just so depressing and so obvious when you actually see it. You just
know.
And it really was such a double punch to the gut of the Muppets to lose Jim and to lose Richard within a year of one another. And I'll give you another Richard Hunt thing that really kind of summed it up. Jim Henson put it in his will, so I want to say it was 87, just to kind of give you an idea as to when Jim was thinking about death. Jim wrote, look, if anything ever happens to me, I've had a wonderful life. He wrote a whole thing that was delivered to his children on the day of his death. It's like, sounds like a mafia don. Like on the day of my death, like I'm sitting here in this studio in France, and I'm going to write a bunch of letters to my children. On the day of my death, deliver these letters to them.
It was on his mind.
Right. And One of the things that thing said was, and this was written, I want to say it was 1987 he wrote this. And one of the things he said is that if I was to die, please ask Richard Hunt if he's still around.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea that he knew Richard's time was numbered. Just ask him to be the MC of my performance, and Richard Hunt got it amongst himself to go ahead and perform at Jim Henson's funeral service. And I want to say Richard's last performance that I can remember was the Muppets Celebrate Jim Henson right after Jim Henson died, and boom, Richard Hunt was dead like within a couple of months, and no one said shit. You didn't even know that dude had passed away.
Wow.
And he voiced so many memorable, wonderful, awesome characters. And people are like, well, did he know that he had? Yes, Jim Henson and them knew he had. In fact, Frank Oz was at his bedside as he was dying.
That's
it
tight.
was just, yeah.
Fun.
It's just such a heart-rending story to know. Like, most people like when Jim died, Muppet Vision 3D, but no one thinks about the guy who voiced Scooter, who's a big part of the prelim show. No one thinks about the voice of Janice or Statler or Sweetums. Sweetums is another character. Richard Hunt dubbed all that while Jim Henson's son physically did the mannerisms of Sweetums, like the whole, like with the ping pong ball. Well, not the ping pong ball. What do you call it? What do you call that ball?
Oh, the paddle ball.
Paddle ball. Thank you.
Yes.
Where Jim Henson's son did that, and that was another thing that was done kind of in one take because he just performed that so many times over. There's so many interesting stories about Muppet Vision 3D, and that's what I'm saying. We're pretty much already doing them all, so I don't even know what's the point of doing it. Like, later on.
It's already, but that's
it
rough.
goes to show you that Jim and them knew that he was dying. Never stopped working with him. Never stopped figuring out a way to get Richard involved. Richard was supposed to die first, and Jim passed, and then Richard went. It really was the death knell of the Muppets.
Yeah, but the art transcended the creators. That's what's really
well. The art, yes, to this day, that artwork survives. But I mean, what have they done with those creations is a better question. I mean, look at it. Steve Whitmire voiced Kermit for a long, and he was unceremoniously fired. And then you lose Jerry Nelson recently. Frank Oz is no longer involved. All you've got is Dave Goelz at this point in time. All you've got is Gonzo. Like when we're talking about it, and I think we're about ready to start talking about it, right, Lee? If we're going to do a segue, we should get back on track. We're about ready to
I think you're breaking it into another two-part show.
So what?
Did you notice this is the dark side of Muppet Vision 3D?
Did you notice?
Why don't you take us from there, Lee?
Make it happy.
Well, let's exit through the gift shop, as they say. There's a lot of cool stuff to see in the gift shop.
Yes.
Again, take notice of all. There's a lot of signs. There's signs everywhere.
Signs
everywhere. Signs. For example, there's signs that say chickens only beyond this point. No point beyond this point. Through these halls pass the most talented performers in the business, our accountants.
I like that.
There's even like a running joke of several signs that you got to follow throughout the stores, where one says, "Don't look here," with an arrow, and the next one says, "Don't look here either." And another one says, "Why are you looking here?" And then the last sign says, "Look here. I didn't say Simon Says."
Nice.
So I mean, it's just like you can't help but see all this great little jokes and just funny signs and puns. It's just everywhere. So there is one section of the gift shop that pays homage to the Happiness Hotel from the Great Muppet Caper, which in the movies it's a really cheap hotel, and the signs in the area play on that joke, right? So there's one sign that says, "Please steal the linens. It's cheaper than having them cleaned." It says, "Here we feature the Murphy bed from the makers of Murphy's Law."
Yes.
Oh, but it's over at Riviera Resort.
Well, Murphy's Law, that bed fell on someone's head. So
yes.
yeah. Anyway, guests with valuables are invited to store them in the house safe. Simply look behind the check-in desk. There's a large hole in the back of the safe that will enable you to withdraw and replace your valuables at any time.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Check out is whenever you like. Patrons wishing to pay will find their money gladly accepted. Those who wish to sneak out without paying will find it easier than you think.
Wow.
Well, that's the reference in Great Muppet Caper where it's like, hey, how are you guys fixing to pay? What are our choices? A, cash. B, credit card. C, sneaking out in the middle of the night. We'll take C. Very popular choice.
Very popular choice.
Yes.
If you see any signs that say Pork Security Company, do not enter, Muppet Lads personnel, those are cast member areas.
Yeah.
So, that's...
So enter.
Yeah, it's like
no, don't enter.
Link Hogthrob.
Yeah.
Captain of the Starport. Wait, I'm saying it wrong.
Oh, the spaceship.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy. Pigs in space.
Oh,
Thank you.
Pigs in space.
The lead guy with the cleft chin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you pay for your items in the gift shop, if you look up top, you'll notice those dressing rooms. Those are the dressing room doors from the Muppet Show, the Muppet Show that we were just talking about that's on Disney Plus now. And you can also see there's a clothesline with a bunch of clothes hanging up. And if you notice, there's a pair of Mickey Mouse pants hanging there as well.
Nice.
So that's a cool little detail.
Nice.
I think that's why most people think that when they see that section, they're like, well, this is a recreation of the Muppet Show. Like, no, any true Muppet fan will walk in there and know immediately that's a friggin' Happiness Hotel. But because of the doors, I think that's what has people a little bit in thinking that it's like, oh, okay, this is the Muppet Theater. No, it's not.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. It was really fun talking about Muppet Vision 3D, the Muppets Courtyard.
Yeah.
Danny, I cannot thank you enough for your contribution. There's so much stuff there that just, if you don't know that stuff, if you are not immersed in that universe, you just don't know it. And really, you added a lot to this show. So I want to thank you so much for that.
And we just touched upon it, too.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you
there's so
for
much
your
more.
passion.
You're-
Your
you're-
passion.
look.
It's the passion. We're all magical and whatnot.
You're more than welcome, and I was happy to help out. And look, it takes a village to raise a child, that kind of thing. And Kirk Landry was...
And I put them up for adoption.
Just as
Absolutely.
crucial, I think, as well. And coming up with... This was really a team effort, guys, because, I mean, to give the Muppets their just due...
Which they deserve.
Yes.
After all these years.
Which was such an important part of all of our childhoods.
Very.
Like, we vary in years amongst all of us by a couple of years.
Not by much.
But not by much. And we were all there.
We all
when
young
the
at
Muppets
heart.
hit.
We all get hard.
Yes. So thank you, Lee. Thank you, guys, for bringing this, because unfortunately, I just think it's a matter of time before that area is gone.
Anyway,
It's
as a-
sad.
All right, so
It's
going-
sad.
Thanks for ending it on a down note.
Yeah.
I was
But it's a true note.
Say real quick, as a listener who's also on the show every once in a while,
Yes, sir.
it is one thing to hear people talking about something they're passionate about. It's another thing to see it.
Experience it. Yeah.
Because I think at one point I saw Danny tearing up.
Oh, absolutely.
It's possible.
I think
possible, yeah.
I think that's very true. I think like if Lee would have covered some show and it would covered Marvel, I would have been like, listen, I feel this way, and I think that was a really good crucial part. And props to you, Lee. You brought the magic out, so abracadabra, the rabbit got pulled out the hat tonight.
Yeah.
Bean Bunny.
All right, so look, Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last episode of the Magic Our Way podcast.
Nice to see
Next
ya.
week, we'll have episode 1 of the Muppets Our Way podcast coming soon. So that's where we're going for.
No,
That's
but seriously, on a personal note, my favorite Muppet was always Scooter. I love Scooter. And so when I learned that Richard died, it was a heartbreaker. So to give any light, to give any attention upon the fine work that Richard, because there's no Statler without Waldorf.
That's true.
He was the man next to the man next to the man.
Yeah, he was so much. And, you know, his whole voice from Scooter came from being the new guy, because he was the guy, like, that was where he came with the voice for Scooter, was he was a new guy who was so enthusiastic, like, yes, whatever you need, Jim, I'll bring whatever you want, Jim. And that's what you hear when you hear Scooter, like 10 minutes of curtain, or so and so. Like, that's what you hear. Whenever that Muppet Show starts, it's usually Richard Hunt saying 5 minutes, and I just don't think he gets the just due that he deserves. And knowing to tie it into Trading Places, which is something that we can all remember, so we can all easily identify with his face, not just his voice, but his face.
Or his energy.
Yeah, what a performer. So thank you for letting us do whatever we can to put a little spotlight on the guy who deserves it.
And listen to show your love.
Yeah.
Listen to show your love on. There was a lot of love being had on this episode.
I mean, this dude. I mean, think about it. This was like pre-Magic. This is before AIDS was considered like. This is like right around that Freddie Mercury time, where people were dying before you really understood AIDS.
What was going on?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no,
That's
absolutely.
dark.
So, Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for indulging us on this exploration of the whole Muppet area, Muppet Vision 3D specifically.
Yes.
And we're going to cover the rest of Hollywood Studios on an upcoming episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. So make sure you stay subscribed and make sure you get in touch with us. And we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed that discussion of Muppet Visions 3D. And all things Muppets so far. We're going to continue that much later on as we go. Look, MagicOurWay.com is the way to go if you want to find out everything about the Magic Our Way podcast, past episodes, social media links, and more. If you want to get in touch with us or share your opinion, you can shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com. You can leave us a voicemail via SpeakPipe widget or call or send us a text message at 1-815-MOWEEKEND. That is 1-815-MOWEEKEND 669-4226.
Hey, Kev, how long do you think it is before they replace Muppet Vision 3D with WandaVision 3D?
You think Wanda becomes a Muppet?
I don't know. I just felt a tinge of anger there.
You felt a disturbance in the force.
Very much so.
Yes.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know if they should do that.
You know what? Josh Whedon, he did an episode of Angel when they turned all the characters in there into Muppets.
Josh Whedon?
Yeah.
Oh, he's canceled. I can't talk about it.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
But can we get the Fraggles up in here?
Oh, I used to love some Fraggle Rock.
Let's get the Fraggles and the Dozers. They used to be on HBO. Can we get the Dozers up in there? Some
my
awesome
God.
looking.
That was the best
Down
music.
Fraggle Rock.
That's right.
Down
Fraggle Rock's awesome. And the Dozers, they built some killer shit.
That was dangerous. It made you want to eat glass. Like, that was a dangerous show.
Yeah.
One of the best stories of the Fraggles, like where people were like submitting to become. Well, you know what? I'm
Now you feel that's what it's about.
We're
stopping. I'm
Truly
stopping.
magical and whatnot.
Yes.
You feeling
Yes.
it. It's all good.
The story all about the glory.
That's right.
All
Speaking about the glory, we got a couple of guys do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli that does things with comics. Here we go.
Hey, Rob Liefeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics, all of it. You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name.
What are we gonna talk
Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you.
Me.
I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com.
Tell about it, Rob.
If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out.
This is awesome.
The Savages comic cannot be beat.
That's right.
Cannot be surpassed. You need to experience it for yourself.
Like your meat.
You gotta
You know
experience it.
the story. It's all about the glory.
Oh!
Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics, Eli Ivory, comic book guru.
All the magic.
Check out ivorycomics.com.
What's the
comic
website
book guru, Eli Ivory, the whole package.
I'll tell you in a minute.
I'm glad Rob said so.
Said to.
Deadpool
Do
did
it.
too.
It was Rob.
ivorycomics.com. Right now. Liefeld out.
Hey, look, I may not be the Merc with the mouth, but I'm definitely a comic book artist from the South. You understand?
Oh!
That's how I did that.
Did you say the Merkwind?
No,
Merc
I'm
with the
not-
mouth.
I'm not
Oh,
the
the
Merc
Merc.
with the mouth.
I was going to say, what's a Merkwind?
I'm not a Merc with the Merc with the mouth. That's
Merc
Deadpool.
with-
Say
the
Merkwood
mouth.
Mouth. What's that? Who's that? That your character? Merkwood Mouth.
The Merc with the mouth.
You're missing mouth. You missing
You miss a mouth. You miss a mouth.
You gotta get paid him again. I would look. I would say, look,
giving you.
give it to you. Go give it to you. Look, I'm just 1/4 of the magic, and that's why I'm glad to be part of this. And that's the one thing that we always say every time. You never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. I am just like at this point, I'm just 1/5 of the magic.
a fifth?
Just a fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
Just a fifth. I plead the fifth.
Deadpool giving you.
What?
Did we make Kirk an unofficial fifth?
Yeah, he's always in that fifth. Now
should
when you're not here, then we a fourth.
We
but
should
right
come up
to
with a
that-
term. Like, what would be like a fifth? Like, it wouldn't be
Cuckold.
like,
A fifth master.
Don't do me like
like
this.
cuckold of the Magic Our Way podcast.
A quarter hold.
No.
He doesn't say much, but he's right there.
That's right. If you want to go ahead and have a chimichanga with some orange juice, you can always go ahead and check out the Ivory Comics website. And there's all this good stuff there that Rob mentioned. And there's a link to this podcast. You never miss an awesome episode. Get all the magic and whatnot. All the magic. Every episode, all the magic.
Deadpool, give it to you.
Yeah, all that.
Go and give it to you.
You get so much magic, you walk outside after checking out the Ivory Comics website and listening to this Magic Our Way episode. Your car might be float when you walk outside the next day. You never know what's going to happen.
We all floating here.
We all floating. And so look, you find me on Facebook. You can see me there, Eli H. Ivory. As long as you're a real person, cool. But if you're a bot, I don't want to talk to you. But if you're a magician, maybe we can see what can happen. And then you can go ahead and check out the Project Geisha page. You'll like that. Facebook.com/Project Geisha. Instagram, I'm up on there too. E Ivory 504. And of course, on Twitter, you can find me at Hancock10166. And it's a lot of madness, too much gladness, a lot of magic. That's never tragic. Thank you very much.
Hancock
166.
And look, if you want to book a vacation down to Walt Disney World so you can visit the Muppet Vision's 3D Courtyard and the ride itself, you can do so through Lee. Lee, tell them how to do this.
Just give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832-ANIMAL. 832-ANIMAL. Animal. You know.
Tell him, Hawk.
The guy. You know the guy from the Muppets. Email me at lee@magicourway.com. Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. Instagram, you can find me at You Got a Friend in Lee Travel. If you do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no.
Hotavika.
What is wrong with you?
A lot. How much time you got?
In addition, guys, there's so many ways in which you can support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to take a second and thank you for being a loyal listener. And we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. Some weekends, ladies and gentlemen, we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with taco rolls.
Hey, this is Kevin from the Magic Our Way podcast. When Calgon can't take me away, Mad Hatter Radio will. Check it out.
Bam.